Hello and welcome to Mangum News. I'm your host, Elijah Mangum. This week we'll be discussing Creed 3, The Mandolorian Chapter 19, Governor Brian Kemp signing tax rebates into law, special elections in the Atlanta metro area, my weekly weather report, and an update and retrospective on former President Jimmy Carter from his presidential library. Without further ado, let's begin. Creed 3 finishes the Creed trilogy with an epic but personal punch. The trilogy has been building towards Adonis stepping out of the shadow of his father Apollo Creed and former mentor Rocky Balboa. The film accomplishes this by removing all the Rocky characters from the film and centering around an original, more personal story. Jonathan Majors shines as the opponent Damian Anderson, who acts as a great villain and bears a certain level of likability similar to his performance as Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania earlier this year. In addition to starring in the film, Michael B. Jordan makes his directorial debut to much success. Jordan creates a unique visual flair to the franchise with a mix of slow motion and close-up shots. These elements in particular make the final fight stand out. Adonis's wife, Bianca, played by Tessa Thompson, and daughter, Amara, played by Mila Davis Kent, are also delightful and add a great family dynamic to the film. Overall, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. While bookended with the story and characters we're invested in, The Mandolorian Chapter 19, The Convert, is mostly a slow catch-up on some very minor characters from previous seasons that we're not nearly as invested in. Even if the episode's main problem was to set up future storylines, I still give Chapter 19 a 7.5 out of 10. Governor Brian Kemp signed HB 162 into law on Tuesday, providing for a special state income tax refund for Georgians who filed returns in both the 2021 and 2022 taxable years. The AFY 2023 budget signed by Governor Kemp on March 10th accounts for the special refund, with over $1 billion in surplus funds on its way back to taxpayers. This is the second year in a row of income tax refunds. Special elections took place in the Atlanta metro area on Tuesday. In the new city of Mableton, 6 city council members were elected, while the mayor's race will go into a runoff. The runoff will be between Aaron Carman and Michael Owens on April 18th. Also on April 18th, there will be another runoff for Clayton County Sheriff between Lavon Allen and Clarence Cox. The winner of the runoff will replace former Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill. Hill was sentenced in October to 18 months in prison and 6 years of supervised release for violating the civil rights of 6 detainees in the Clayton County Jail by ordering them to be strapped into restraint chairs for hours on end. This week in the Atlanta metro area, temperatures will range from as low as 47 on Thursday and as high as 81 on Saturday. There will be a 60% chance of thunderstorms on Saturday, with a 30% chance Sunday through Tuesday. I'm here at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Atlanta, Georgia, to discuss the former president's life and legacy, and as well as give an update on his final days. Jimmy Carter was born on October 1st, 1924 in Plains, Georgia. He graduated from Plains High School in 1941 before graduating from the United States Naval Academy in 1946. Shortly after, he married childhood sweetheart Rosalind Smith. They had 4 children together. Carter left active duty in 1953 to return home and revive his family peanut farm. During this time, he served as a school board member and was elected to the Georgia State Senate in 1962. Carter unsuccessfully sought the Democratic nomination for governor in 1966. 4 years later, he won the nomination and the governorship. Carter ran as a dark horse candidate in the 1976 Democratic presidential primary.
Until he became governor, he put in 12 hours a day in his shirt sleeves during harvest at his farm. Can you imagine any of the other candidates for president working in the hot August sun? That's why Jimmy Carter has a special understanding of the problems facing everyone who works for a living. America needs someone like this as president. Vote for Jimmy Carter in your Democratic primary.
Governor Carter won the nomination and chose Minnesota Senator Walter Mondale as his running mate. Carter and Mondale would narrowly defeat incumbent President Gerald Ford and his running mate Senator Bob Dole in the general election. Carter and Mondale were sworn in as the 39th President and 42nd Vice President of the United States. Carter's presidency was plagued by inflation and energy crisis, the Iranian hostage crisis, among other debacles. However, President Carter's crowning achievements was as a champion of peace across the world, most notably the Camp David Accords, which was a historic peace agreement between Israel and Egypt. In 1980, he narrowly was renominated by the Democratic Party for the presidential nomination against Massachusetts Senator Ted Kennedy, before being defeated in a landslide in the general election against the former California Governor Ronald Reagan. After leaving the White House, the Carters have enjoyed what is considered to be one of the best post-presidencies in U.S. history. They opened the Carter Center, which promotes peace, free and fair elections across the world, and medical research. They also build homes for Habitat for Humanity. Former President Carter has also written 23 published books. This work has earned him a Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1999, the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002, and even 3 Grammy Awards for Best Spoken Word Album in 2007, 2016, and 2019. Last month, it was reported that former President Carter would be receiving at-home hospice care surrounded by his wife Rosalind and his family. This week, it was reported that President Joe Biden would deliver his eulogy at his funeral in the event of his passing. Jimmy Carter is the oldest living president in U.S. history. That's all we have for this week. Mangum News will not return until Sunday, April 2nd, with my coverage of the Bible Belt Conference and more. Until then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all on Palm Sunday.